What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review of this week's episode of Hiroaka Season 7. And, bro, another incredible episode, man. Honestly, this might be one of my all-time favorite episodes of the series. I don't know if I will go as far as to say, like, it's a top 5, top 10 episode. It might crack the top 10. I don't know for certain. I cannot say that with certainty at this current moment, man. But this was an incredible episode, man, between Dabi and Todoroki as they finally had their final showdown. And yeah, man, just an incredible episode, really well animated as well. Like, there wasn't that really much, there wasn't no crazy Sakuga or anything, man, which I wasn't expecting, man. But you know, I thought like, oh, maybe they're going to be really going crazy with this episode, considering they gave this episode its own key visual. And next week's episode, which looks like it's going to be Endeavor and Hawks versus All for One, with maybe Shoji in there as well with Spinner, or maybe they'll just set the scene for their fight in the following episode. We might begin that episode. That one we're probably going crazy as well, which I'm super excited about because, you know, I'm excited to see how that fight is going to be going down, man. But yeah, this was a beautifully animated episode, man. A lot spectacular direction as well, man. Gorgeous lighting in some really good spots, man. And just an incredible episode from start to finish, man. Of course, the Japanese cast was fantastic as always, man. I cannot wait to hear how the dub cast handles this episode, because you guys know this episode will be getting double reaction. And as you guys know, we are currently at episode 8, and of course, you know, next week is going to be episode 9, and you guys know that usually for the past couple of years I've been doing a separate episode discussion episode for not even not even on purpose. It just happened to be episode 9 was always the episode where there was a lot to talk about, and I was had enough to make a separate video. As you guys can probably guess, I'm probably not, unless something really big happens in that episode that like really inspires me and I just cannot shake it and I have to make that discussion video, man. I'm more than likely not going to make a discussion video, even if there is a lot to talk about in the episode, because you guys know I kind of don't got my current setup, man. Like, sure, I think I did like the first couple for season 3 and season 4 via this, but like, how I make videos is a lot different than how I did back then. I don't think I have the patience or the time to really be working with this, to try and work with this setup to get that video where I want to be. So most unlikely, the episode discussions are dead. The streak is over. To quote Michael Cole after, you know, WrestleMania 30 with Undertaker's streak game broken. You know, it's over. But, you know, I'm sure still be a fantastic, and hopefully, you know, maybe season 8 will return. Once the setup hopefully it's returned by then. But yeah, man, I'm hyped, I'm excited, man. Without enough of me rambling, let's just jump right into the actual episode. So we start the episode off with the good doctor, Dr. Karaki. He's locked in his cell. We have one of the other police officers walk into his cell, telling him to be quiet, and, you know, he goes off about you know, warped seeds and whatnot. Before we get to cut the OP, and then we actually get back to the actual episode properly, where we see Todoroki charge up his like double crossover X attack. I forget the name of it off the top of my head right at the moment, man. But honestly, the way this was animated, man, I love the look of this move. It looks really, really good. Before I finally get to Toya's backstory and to see how the hell he actually survived the fire. Now from here, I don't know if this was all. Now I think from here this was a mixture of like reused footage from that one episode in season 6 with Toya with new footage. I'm not sure. This could have all been reused footage from that episode, or this was all new footage from not in that episode. Don't remember for certainly, but we more or less see what happens where Toya is crying, where he's on the verge of tears at the forest, and then he like turns into the Human Torch, and then we see Toya just like as he's like burning away, and you can like see like his like flesh burning, and like the part of like your mouth that that part of like the middle part of your mouth that I guess like connects to like your jaw or whatever, like middle part, middle part where Heath Ledger like has the scars, you know, Joker has the scars in you know, the Dark Knight, there. That area of the mouth, I don't know what it's actually called, the cheek area, I don't know. I am not a doctor, but we see that like melt away. Like, it was surprising to grab me. Like, I've noticed something that people have been mentioning recently with the season, how it's not as much, that hasn't nearly been as censored as much as previously, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if somehow with the new director, because as far as I know, they haven't switched time slots. Maybe the TV station Hero Walker airs is becoming more lenient with them and letting them do more, because this is, the ending, the finale that we are wrapping up to the ending of the series. Not sure, but hey, I appreciate less censorship, man. It's always a good thing. But anyway, as we see Toya eventually find like this little like lake area and just dumps himself right in there to stop the flyer, to stop himself from burning up. We then see him get out there. The man is burnt to an absolute crisp, man. And then we see All For One in the distance, like in front of the flaming forest behind him, man, with his like this top hat on, or some sort of, maybe it's a fedora. I don't know. I'm not a hat guy. And it also looked amazing, man. I love this shot, man. And yeah, and Toya burnt to a crisp, man. God damn, man. That was definitely a very striking image. God, I sound so pretentious saying that. Anyway, we cut back. We see Toya. He's waking up from his slumber, and he's in like some sort of children's hospital, man. We see that he now has the current burns that we saw with Dabi, which I thought was interesting because I always figured that with all the piercings or whatever those things are Dabi had around his face was because of the skin grafts, was to like keep the skin grafts together. But we see him with basically the same look and no, piercing or nothing. Now, it could have just been a case where Marco just thought that looked cool when he first designed Dabi and didn't think that far ahead with the Todoroki family and everything, man. But like, I thought that was a little weird, man. I thought it was a little interesting, man. I wish we got some explanation with like what that was about, but whatever. So he explores this place. He finds a room with a bunch of kids in there, and one of the kids says, "Son," he likes Mr. Sonny, the kid from that sleepyhead finally waked up, and then one of the newer kids in there goes to Toya, which also I thought it was interesting. I thought this was a really nice, a little attention to detail thing in the episode where we actually see that Toya's voice has changed. Obviously, considering he became Human Torch, it would make sense that his vocal cords would get burned up as well. So obviously he's now switched over to his Dabi VA. Or a Seiyu, excuse me. But this time his voice is a little bit higher. But whenever he does like the internal monologues or whatnot, the narration from Toya, it's actually Toya's Seiyu, which I thought was interesting and a nice touch, man. And of course, as the episode progresses onward, it just becomes fully Dabi. But I thought that was a nice little attention to detail there. I'm curious to see how this is going to sound in English when the dub of this comes out. So anyway, as I was saying, the new girl tells Toya that he's been asleep for 3 years. So I guess he's been in a coma for that long. I don't know how you would sleep and be in a coma for 3 years or just be asleep that long. But then again, he was burnt to a crisp. I don't know. Maybe All For One did some shit to him to make sure he heals or something. I don't know. But then he meets over with Mr. Sonny, the guy running this place. Did anyone else find him kind of creepy looking, man? Just this whole area, and of course we now know he's working. Of course, then we find out this is indeed working with All For One. Everything. Did anyone else kind of find him creepy or like? Just get weird vibes from this dude, man. I don't know. I found him a little creepy while I was watching the episode, man. I don't know if that's just me or anyone else felt that way as well. So anyway, of course, Dabi, or Toya, I should say, or I don't know, that whatever. Obviously wants to go home. And he's all right. Let me go. And of course, because he's now working with All For One, he's at one of All For One's locations. The dude won't let him leave, and then Toya tells him that he has to go there. He said some terrible things to his father. He needs to show him things. He wants to be a hero, and that's when he gets interrupted by All For One. And All For One basically tells him obviously they had to use like skin grafts, or I think he said like regenerative like skin or whatever to obviously heal up all the burn marks, because he was obviously burnt to a crisp, as we all saw. His senses have been dull, and that his body was overall really extremely impaired. They were hoping to get him to full health, full health, but they failed. And he can't use his powers the same as before, etc., etc. Started damage to his lung, You guys get the gist. You guys know that he was severely damaged from becoming the Human Torch. And then we get this really nice, this really clean dolly zoom. And you guys know me. I love a good dolly zoom. We also got one, I don't think I ever mentioned it in my review, but I meant to, was in a couple episodes ago with All For One, a few episodes back, but that one looked really good. And I love the way this was directed, edited to, and animated. This looks so good. Like I said, we get the dolly zoom, as All For One says, we did our best, but ultimately we failed, as we see Toya with his hand over his mouth, as he realizes as it truly sinks in what happened. As we get like these super glitchy, CRT looking flashbacks to, of course, what happened, in that episode with Toya as a kid, with Todoroki and everything, man. And it looks It was absolutely spectacular, man. It looked amazing. He's then overcome with emotion, probably crying. And while all of this is going on, All For One's like, so, bro, but don't worry, we might be able to get your fight back to normal, man. Just join our team, man. Would you join our family and to see we can and train with us to regain the power of your flames? And Dabi straight up rejects him, saying that the only person that can train him is his dad, which I thought was kind of interesting, man. And I also just thought it was interesting to find out that Dabi already had history with All For One, even before he joined the League of Villains. Man, he had history. He was the one that saved him, and of course, Dr. Garaki was also the one that fixed him up, man. I thought that was interesting that these two already had history before that. So then Sunflower guy, Sunny, whatever the fuck his name was, tries to be like, hey man, wait, hold up. And Dabi starts using his flames, and then eventually burns the place down, as we see a little later on. And we get back to Garaki's mention it was too late for him for us to join him for us to lead him into our cause. He was already too inflamed. As we see Dabi running away from the burning wreckage of what was that building. Now from the episode, it looks like the fire that Sunny does burn up in the fire, but we don't know what happens to the rest of the kids that were in there, man. Did they burn with the building? Did they manage to get out there? Did Dabi Toya get them down of the building before he ran off? I kind of wish we got some explanation what happened to those kids, if they burned with the building too or not. And then the police officer watching him in shock, thinking that All For One planned everything out years in advance, like he's Lord Aizen, which he basically is. And then we see Toya aimlessly walking down the city, and we found that Dabi's body wasn't even supposed to last a month after he woke up. But as you guys can clearly tell, the man got about 10 years out of it, or 10 years, give or take, maybe a little less than that, but he got a good number of years out of this new body. And then, of course, once he gets back to the League of Villains, he has the skin grafts and everything, man, with the staples or whatever those things are called that are that's in his face. And then we get, and as they they talk, we get this really nice shot of Dabi zooming in on his eye, man. It is super detailed. You can see the wrinkles in his skin, man, his eye, the staples holding his flesh together, man, or whatever these things are. It was absolutely just an incredible shot. We then head over back to the actual fight itself between Dabi and Todoroki, as we then start to see the All Might tension start to melt away. Obviously, this is all CGI, and then of course Toya tells me there was indeed one time he did return home after he awakened. And so he gets there, man. He wanted to, after three, and like I said, it's been 3 years since Toya has been asleep, and so he was hoping that something would be different. But of course, when they get there, man, he sees Endeavor training Todoroki, and of course, there's flames everywhere. He's also holding this stick for some reason. I'm not exactly sure what he was planning to do with that stick. Maybe beat him with it, or maybe it was supposed to be like a wooden. It's just a piece of wood he's holding. It's not like a wooden sword, trading sword, nothing like that. It's just a block of wood. And of course, we see Endeavor. His eyes are all angry and stuff. Like the key animation here, man, looked amazing. And as Dabi says that, and as Dabi narrates, he says that he was a failure with no reason of living, and that the family had already moved on from him. Also, I gotta say, the music playing here, man, is absolutely spectacular, man. I love the music that was playing during this part of the episode, man. It sounded absolutely. I'm pretty sure they were both new tracks. They might have been old tracks, but either way, man, it sounds, man. As we see Dabi fully become the Human Torch, as we see his entire body, as we see the flames engulf all of his skin and just burns all of his flesh throughout his arm, so nothing left but the burnt flesh, which I thought looked really, really cool. And he mentions how he started training during all of that, learning all of Endeavor's moves because he didn't want to fight him while he was still weak. Then we get the amazing shot which we saw in the key visual of him praying before, the little memorial or what's the word I'm looking for? Mural or whatever it's called, for Toya in the Todoroki household. And then we truly have to see Dabi's new design, man. Now, of course, with the new design, man, you can just see, his flesh is all burnt up, man, and everything, man. The dude looks like a freaking zombie, and it looks fucking amazing, man. I love the look of this. We then finally get to the new run for both Dabi and Todoroki in the commercial cards. So then we have President might explain and one of Endeavor's special moves, Flash Fire Fist. I also got to say, the music here was fantastic. I know I mentioned this earlier on the review, but I gotta say again, the music throughout this episode was fantastic, especially this portion of the episode with Dabi and Todoroki's 5-man. The music here was absolutely spectacular. So as I mentioned, President Mike explains Flash Fire Fist, because then we actually get to see Dabi use this move as he explains how he was able to get his fire back, and because the senses were dull, he was able to go past his limit, and that's of course how he got the blue flames. And then man straight up starts using Endeavor's moves, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, man. Like first he uses Hell Spider, and then after that one he this was a really nice shot where he's like all crouched down on the floor, asking Todoroki what expression he made while he was hiding at UA, being the son of Endeavor and the brother of Dabi, as he charges right towards him, man, and then just takes him down the ground, just starts beating him down, man. And the animation here, man, looked spectacular, man. Looked absolutely fantastic. He is just wailing on this poor kid, man. It's just absolutely wailing on him. And as he continues his ranting towards Todoroki, he calls him an aimless, half-baked doll. Before then using jet burn that sends him flying into a nearby building. Which honestly, man, it was also kind of shocking to see, Dabi use Endeavor's moves, man, but it looked really, really cool, I must say, man. Like I said, the animation here was spectacular, man, and also the music. Oh my god, the music. I know I mentioned it earlier, man, I'm probably sounding like a broken record now, but oh my god, it is so good. And then we see that Todoroki's now started using Flash Fire, the move he debuted, which we saw a few episodes ago when he was combining his heat, his fire with his ice, which also looked amazing, man. I love the way that it was animated here, man. I love the colors they used, the lighting of this, man. It looked amazing. I love the way that this was depicted in the episode, how it was drawn in, man. It looks amazing. So we then hit a flashback to when basically Endeavor was trying to convince Todoroki not to fight Dabi, but he says that he's the only one that can face off against Toya, because, he was the only one that can fight all for one, and Izuku is already taking care of Shigaraki. We also get some really nice key animation here, I must say, man, with Todoroki's face, with Todoroki's expressions, man. Love that, man. They looked amazing, man. I might use that shot of him LeFaux as the main shot for the thumbnail of this review, man. Not entirely sure. I'll obviously know once I actually start making it, but that shot looked really, really nice, man. I really looked at this shot, man. Todoroki says, "Dad was crazy. Our family was hopeless. Even so, you're the one that chose to burn people." And then we get another flashback to when he shows off Flashfire to Izuku and some of the other members of Class A. Also, rejoice, Ida fans, you get to see his ass for 5 seconds. Rejoice to any female Ida fans out there, or gay men, how we do not discriminate here. Rejoice, you get some Ida fan service. Did not know that was a thing, but I'm sure somebody was happy by that. Anyway, man, once again, it looks absolutely amazing, man. It's just the way that this was just the lighting here for this thing was absolutely beautiful, man. And Izuku, he's just as enamored by it as I'm sure everyone watching the episode was. And we also get this really nice shot of it reflected in his eyes, man. It looked really nice, man. I really like that shot. And then we get a flashback back to season 2 where of course Izuku told it's yours, your quirk, not his, and he tells Izuku that this is his power and things, which it's cute. I'm sure this said that Todoroki shook us into a fucking frenzy when this came out originally, man. Which honestly, man, I got no beef with them, man. You guys know that I will shit on and shit on the Bakudeku shifters, but honestly, man, the Todoroki camp, I got no beef with them, man. They actually stay in their lane and they ain't doing wild shit like they are, man. So there you go, man. I got no beef with those shippers, man. Those shippers, they cool in my books. We got no beef with them. Anyway, Todoroki charges towards Dabi and says, "Don't take the lives of any more innocent people." And then finally uses attack Flash Fire Fist Phosphor. If I'm pronouncing that right, I'm not sure if I am or not. But the attack itself looked really, really cool, man. I love the way that once again the animation for this episode was fantastic. And one thing I thought was really cool was right after when Todoroki does land that attack, you can actually see this is some really nice animation where Dabi actually uses his flame to propel himself forward to keep him up in the air while he's falling, while he's going back backwards, man, to land back on his feet, man. I really like that cut, man, where he's like using it as like repulsors, basically, like Iron Man. I thought that was really cool, man. I really like the look of that. And then Dabi tells him once he lands, I mean, even though we're brothers sharing the same blood, we ended up so differently. And the animation looks really good as he like slams his hands on the ground, starts burning the ground beneath him, man. Probably one of my favorites. And while this is going well, he's like charging up this attack. Todoroki's like, you know, flash fire combo thing. I'm slipping on the name of it right at the current moment, man. You know, I just talked about it. It goes away, so he has to like restart and like get it back up again. And so as he's like charging up, man. The animation here looks really good, man. I wish I had my computer fixed so I could go frame by frame to really, you know, appreciate like each frame and the impact frames and to really get a good look at it, man. But from the bits that we saw it looked really good. It's just like the impact frame parts, man. Like that looked really nice. And he charges up, he fires the attack, but all of Endeavor's sidekicks, man, to take the blast for Todoroki, which gives him enough time to finally have it ready all up, to have it charged up and ready to go for the final attack against Dabi. And now as he's doing this, he remembers when Endeavor told him to charge it up and fire. So he to charge it up and condense it to fire him. So that's what he does. He starts charging it up, condensing it before they both charge right into it for the final attack. And also, man, that shot of Todoroki where he's like leaning down there, man, with his fist obviously in Dabi's like ribs or like his stomach or whatnot, man. Like that shot looks amazing, man. I love the look of that shot, man. And the cherry on top for this, man, is you actually get to see while Todoroki actually fires the full attack, Great Glacier Agri? I don't know how you pronounce that last one, and then basically puts everything under, which basically ices everything in the vicinity of their fight, including the All Might statue and some buildings. We get to see actually while the blast is going off, we see Toya actually as the attack attacks him while he's crying, and then we see Todoroki, kid Todoroki, you know, also crying as he lands the final blow against Dabi, man. Like that was a cherry on top for this fight, man. And like I said, once again, the music here was absolutely spectacular, man. I love the music for this fight right here, man. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where the episode ends. Like I said, the next episode preview, we're going to begin the Endeavor fight, which also got its own key visual, and maybe Shoji as well, but I think that might be saved for the following episode. And yeah, man, this was an absolutely incredible episode, man. I had a blast watching it. Like I said, this is probably my all-time favorite episodes of the series, man. Bones cooked, man. Studio C cooked, and I can't wait for next week, man, to see how that fight's going to turn out as well, guys. But anyway, guys, let's get the video off. Overall, I give this episode a 10 out of fucking 10, ladies and gentlemen. As always, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me so if you feel like it. Links subscribe below. As always, back for more. See you guys next time.
She's too